few examples to make sure you know how to go about doing this. So the first thing we're going to be going over is graphing. So write this down. And so most of you guys, this is review. So we went over, we learned how to graph all year. I just want to make sure. So graphing, what you're going to be doing, I'm going to just circle these in different colors. So first thing you do is you press that y equals button. And so you might already know how to do it. And if you have your calculator in front of you, so that you can kind of figure out and know how to work it before just like looking at a paper. Because remember, you're not going to have this on the test. So at y equals, then you type the equation in. And no matter what the variable is, what do we use for the variable? We use this button right here, x comma t comma this button right here. So for the variable. So, and then once you're done that, you press graph. And so I'm going to give you an example right here. So here's my example. So I'll give you x squared minus 1x minus 6. So if you want to try that, follow those steps. So go to y equals, type in x squared minus 1x minus 6. And so see if you can graph it. And notice those arrows when you're going on your graphing calculator. You guys can look at what the x-intercepts are, the y-intercepts. Your calculator will be reset those, the main functions. So if you need to change, say like you want to find your vertex and it's not on the graph, like you have to scroll down almost. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like if you want to find a point and it's not on the graph, what you do is you click this button right here, window. And on window it says like x-axis, y-axis, and it tells you so you can change those numbers around so you're able to see it. So like if the graph is like this, here I'll do an example. You don't need to write this. So like say the graph is like this, and you can't see the bump, you want to see the vertex. What would I need to make bigger? The x-axis or the y-axis to see this bump down here? The y, right? And I would need to go smaller, right? So when you look at it, you should see like x-axis, y-axis. You would need to make that y-min like smaller, like -20. So right now it should be set, so it's 10, -10, 10, -10. And so I would use a calculator. So when you're looking at the window, it helps you change whatever. If you can't see the graph, the part of the graph that you want to see, it helps you change the settings. So do you do that by going to the window and changing around playing around with the axes? So, were you guys able to type in that equation? Now make sure to practice and make sure you know how to do this on your own calculator. So, make sure you're going to y equals, type this in, and then you click graph, and you should see a graph of it. If you use those arrows, you guys can see specific points. So you guys can like scroll like a little clicker. Okay. You can scroll like a little clicker and see specific points. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Next, we're going to do table. So we usually use a table. What we usually want to see the table, well, we want to find our x-intercept, your y-intercept, your bump. What's that bump known as on the table? Vertex. Anything like that you need to see a table for. You do the same part up to here. And then so you type in your equation into y equals. And then what do you have to press? second. So, second, and then. So if you go to that and you click second graph, if you're trying to find your x-intercept, how would I find my x-intercept on a table? What coordinate is what?
When it equals 0, y.
Yes, so when your y is 0, whatever your x coordinate is your x-intercept. So if you're looking for your zeros, your roots, solutions, anything like that, when you're looking at the table and your y is 0, you know that number is your x-intercept. What about your y-intercept? Yeah, when x is 0. And then that bump, remember, if you don't remember what I mean by bump, it's when it goes from like a number. So if it goes from 1, 2, 3, and it goes from like 5 to 7 back to 5, you know that number in the middle, this baby bump right here, is your vertex. See how it goes, you're looking at the y, see how it goes from a number to a different number back to that same number? Yeah, so when we're looking for the baby bump, the exos always go in order. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go over like vertex and things like that. Which number is your axis of symmetry? 2 or 7? 2. Because remember, it's your x coordinate of your vertex. Axis of symmetry. What's 7 considered?
Y.
It's your y coordinate or vertex, but what do we call that? Start to the M.
Min or maximum?
Min or max. In this case, would 7 be a min or max? Max, right? Because it's getting smaller.
What's 2 again?
2 is your axis of symmetry. 7's your max. Because it's see how it's getting lower.
Wait, how you gonna do min and max?
See how we're looking right here in the bump? 7 is the highest it gets, and then it goes back down to 5. So it would be the high.
Not that was 2 would be min or 4.
Yeah, if this was like 2, it would be min. Does that make sense? And so remember, if you're looking for certain points or anything like that, you could always look at the table. All right, next thing we're going to go over is from last unit, remember that line of best fit and things like that. So it's basically, let me find it. I know. So right here, if you see my channel, I'm just so popular. I know. 2 more than I thought I had, so that's good. How do I go? That's funny. How do I go to channel? Right here. My channel. My channel. Such a girl. So here's all the videos. Here's post-test 1. Everything's on here. Unit 1 quizzes, pre-test. I don't know why it's not. Here we go. So here's Ariel's project. So if you don't remember this, her project's on here. So like she explains each thing. Remember when we type our X's into L1, our Y's into L2? Ariel. Shh. Then she says press stat, go over to calc, and go down to 4, linear regression. So she goes over to calc. So if you forget how to do it, this is on my channel. Shh. And then you go down to calculate. And so you can see right here, what is the A considered? Slope, because it says right there. What's your B considered? What's R?
The growth of they're back there.
That you're thinking of arithmetic, you're thinking geometric. R from last unit. Correlation what?
Oh.
Correlation coefficient. You are not going to be able to get that because I am resetting your calculator. So what do you need to turn on your calculator? As soon as you get your calculator, I would turn your diagnostic on. That's when you do second 0, and you scroll all the way down until it says diagnostic on. And so if you forget about all that stuff, we're going over to Smart Learning Flex.
Okay. We'll probably get my calculator tomorrow. We'll probably calculate.
That's fine, just give it to me in the morning. More text.
Is there anything else you need to do after you reset it? Or is that
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get this. All right, deriving the equation. So you can get any equation you want. It could be linear, exponential. There's different buttons we use for each one. Deriving. Deriving the equation. That's if we're given a table, right? We can use it as a table, or if we're given points. Or if it says line of best fit, we know we need to get the equation. I always make sure you're paying attention. So what we do is I had that video, but I'll just do it on here. What color did I not use yet? So we click stat. Sorry if you can't see that. Stat. And then you click on 1, which is edit. Now, I'm going to teach you how to reset your calculator too. So God forbid, like your L1 or L2 goes somewhere, you can just reset your calculator and it will come right back up. But then you type in L1, you put all your X coordinates. In L2, what are you going to put? L2 list, you're going to put your Y coordinates just like Ariel did in that video. I know. So in L1, you're putting your X coordinates. It's the same thing Ariel did in the video. So she put in L1, she put all her X coordinates from her table, and then the Y, she put her Y coordinates. Then you go to stat again. Then what do you go to? Calc. So you go over, so you do this little bit, you click on this little arrow button right here and go over to calc. So then you go to stat again, you go to calc, and when you press on 4, you'll see it says, on 4 it says linear regression. What does it say on 5? If you were to go to stat calc, you go to 5.
line, head,
So one of them says exponential. So if you keep going down, do you guys see 0 where it says EXP reg?
Yeah.
If you go down all the way to 0, you see where it says EXP reg?
Yeah.
That gives you the exponential equation. If it's exponential. And do you guys see one more says quad reg? That means if it's quadratic. I don't think you're going to have to use it. So if you go to quad reg, what number is it? 5. I don't think you're going to have to use this one, but if they give you a table and it's exponential or quadratic, they'll tell you what it is. You can type the points in and pick which one you want to do, and it will give you your
Stat. Both of those says stat.
Because you go to type in, then you go to stat again, calc, and then this is if it's linear, this is if it's exponential, and that if it's quadratic.
What do this give you the correlation?
Correlation coefficient you only need for this one. So correlation coefficient is what letter?
Or I don't know.
What letter is it?
R to the second. R.
Just R. We
What's
just use
R
R
to the second?
You'll learn that in
Algebra 2.
I think pre-calculus. Correlation coefficient, remember, tells you how strong or weak the correlation is. And also you need to turn your diagnostic on.
Why would we use X?
So that's 0. Second 0. Diagnostic. What did you say?
Why would we use exponential?
Like if they give you a table and they give you X and Y's and say like what's happening here? What's the equation? They'll give you you can just type in your L1, L2 and it'll give you the equation. Most likely you're gonna need it for this one. Does everyone have this down?
No.
And so if you are coming on Thursday, you can either listen to me do the same thing again, or I would make sure you're looking at, because every other class after post test 1 and 2. At some point, at least go over the ones you got wrong. So at least go and put it in Mastery Connect if you haven't already, and go over the ones you got wrong that are on my video. So don't go over every single one, go over the ones you need to. All right, everyone's got this. Next one I'm gonna do is statistics.
Like, you don't have it.
Is this the last one?
There's two more little ones. Stats. Remember min, max, Q1, Q3, your mean, median. So to get all that stuff, you click stat, edit.
I can't read.
It's just stat. Edit. And you put all your numbers in L1.
Put all your numbers?
Yeah. Because remember, it's just a list of numbers. You're finding your Q1, your Q3,
Oh.
and max. Put all numbers in L1. Yeah. Mhm. I know. Then you press stat again, same thing as this, but instead of ling reg, do you remember what you press? Go over to calc,
Yeah. Something like the first one.
the first one. Calc says 1 var stats, right? And that gives you everything.
What's the sign above calc? Is that what?
That's just the arrow.
Pointing
Like, yeah, it's pointing to like the direction you go. Stat calc, and you click on 1. Do you remember what sign I said mean is? X with a line. So that first thing on your calculator, the X with the line on it. All the rest say min, max, Q1, Q3. Yep, and so remember, scroll down and see all
It says 1 bar
the
stick.
X with the line is your mean. What?
It says 1 bar stick.
This is like it, though. I'm just going over how to put a fraction in. So these are the two things that I would focus on, like, up till now. Just practicing this over and over in your calculator. Okay, last two things are fractions. Yeah. Please. Sure.
Oh, well.
So, the first one is if you're turning or reducing a fraction, if they ask for it in a fraction. So say you have the decimal like 0.2, give me a decimal,
0.03.
like one that you wouldn't know, 0.38, right? And your answers, they're saying that's the slope. So remember, A is given as a decimal. So say your answer choices are in fractions, right? All you do is you put that decimal into your calculator. So you would write 0.38. Then you press on that button that says math. You guys see that?
Wait.
So if you're trying to turn this to a fraction, you would type the decimal in. So like 0.38. You did this. You would write 0.38, then click math.
Oh, wait. We're clever.
Then click 1, which is frac, and click enter a couple times.
1950.
And so it gives it to you as a fraction.
Wait, what?
So click, is everyone with me? I would make sure you're trying this, because this means nothing if you're not paying attention and if you're not trying.
Reduce.
So you put 0.38,
Uh-huh.
you click math,
Uh-huh.
and you click enter on 1. It says frac,
Oh, right. Okay.
and then just click enter a couple times. And it will give it to you as a fraction.
19 point, oh, it'll be 1950?
Yeah, so that's that decimal as fraction. So click 0.38. So on that one, I'm going to do 0.38, then you click math.
0.38 and red.
Are you going to do Google Form for this one? Wait, let me just finish this one and I'll let you. All right, last one for today. So, remember when you type in your quadratic formula?
Yeah.
So remember when you type in your quadratic formula and you need the like, it's a blank over a blank so you can type everything in? So to get it like that, so you can type in your quadratic formula, you type math. And if you have a blue calculator, or not my calculator, this is where it's different for you. This is where we break up. Yeah. If you don't have my calculator, this is where it's going to be different.
So don't write this.
You're writing this part. This part's the same. Math. And then if you're using my calculator, you're going over to the section that says frac, the bar though. Not this thing right here on the top, like where it says calc,
That's what
it
you
should
do
say
for this
frac.
too.
For that one,
Yeah.
like for Ebony's doesn't have that. So yours is gonna be math, and you go over to number and it's the last one.
So which one?
Yours should have, if yours is the same as
So it looks like
Tiffany's.
this right here.
Yeah, so you go to frac and click enter. And so right here, let me make sure you have it. I think you might be the same as Ebony. Yeah, you're the same as Ebony. So see how we're going to frac? You go to number and go to last one.
And then you go to front and you press enter.
Hey! Let me play around with yours. So when you do that, and then you go to frac, and you click on one that looks like this, N/D, it will come up with this so that you can take the quadrant.
Oh, the two boxes.
Is that like?
Yeah, so that way you can type in the negative. And when you're plugging something in, what should you put when you're plugging something in? Parentheses. Everything you plug in should be in parentheses, or it's not going to be right. So remember, you do the plus first, and then you highlight it, and you change it to a minus. Yeah.
You don't have to put the